Hello everyone, welcome to MBA Karo. I appeared on NMAT official mock test and some of you must have seen that live attempt. And in this video, we are going to discuss the solution of the data interpretation and data sufficiency part. Now, in this mock, there were three DI sets of four questions each and four questions of data sufficiency. So, all in all, there were 16 questions of interpretation plus data sufficiency. In the actual examination, also, either you have two sets or you have three sets of four questions each plus four of data sufficiency. So, ensure that you cover data sufficiency well and also prepare for DI because some basic calculation techniques, percentage, ratios, etc. are needed to ace the DI part. And these are group questions. If you are new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel for best content on any MBA entrance examination. And in case you are preparing for NMAT and SNAP, are looking for a structured course, we have a course for the same that includes classes, practice sheets, doubt resolution group, and mock test for both these exams. So let's begin with the data sufficiency part. There were four questions on data sufficiency. And in data sufficiency, you do not have to solve, right? You do not have to do the calculations. That is the key thing about data sufficiency. I have a video also on data sufficiency. You can find, in fact, multiple videos on my channel in which I have explained different kind of questions. Now let us see this question. It says that what was Lawrence annual return on his investment of the retiring benefits? So we need to find his annual return on his investment. Now, first says from the retiring benefit amount, Lawrence had invested an amount in bank term deposits, which was thrice what we had in company shares and just 50% more than the investment in mutual funds. So he says he deposits in bank, he deposits in company shares and in mutual funds. So he deposits in three departments and we are given the ratio. Like how much is the ratio, 3 times 50% more, so we do not know the values. So first alone is definitely not sufficient to answer the question. Second says the bank paid 10% per annum on Lawrence term deposit, 10% on term deposit, right? Annual return got from mutual fund was double the amount interest derived from the bank term deposit. So mutual fund is 20% and but was 50% more than the dividend obtained from the company share. Okay, so dividend option, it is saying that only 50% more. So that means it is 1.5 times. So we can say dividend from company share is also known, right? That how much percentage? So it will be 13.33%. Okay, so you do not need to calculate all these. You do not need to calculate what is this, what is this. So we know the returns. Okay, but if I do not know in what ratio a person invested, right? First gives you the ratios in which he has deposited the amount. This gives the percentage returns. Let us say I invest high percentage in one category and low percentage in another category. So if I have invested high amount in one particular category and it has higher return, so obviously I will get more return. So we cannot calculate based on just the return percentage, right? So 2 alone is also not sufficient. But when we combine 1 and 2, okay, we will find out that how much return he got. So both statements are sufficient. Now you are not supposed to do the calculation. You do not have to find the rate of interest. So what it is saying that annual return, what is his return? You do not have to tell what is the return. That is the key to solving data sufficiency question. If you start calculating the rate of return, you will end up wasting a lot of time. Now it is up to you to calculate the actual rate of return and do let me know in the comments below that what was the rate of return that you achieved in this. Now again, next question, it says what is Mr. Kashyap's salary? It says Mr. Kashyap bought 50 kg rice with 1/4 of his salary. Okay. Now if I know 50 kg rice, how much did he spend on rice? We do not know. So obviously first is not sufficient. Second says had the rice been 20% cheaper than its current price, Mr. Kashyap could have bought 50 kg rice for $100 more than 1/10 of his salary. Okay, so it says that had the rice been 20% cheaper, he could have bought 50 kg rice for $100 more than 1/10 of his salary. Okay, so if the rice was cheaper, right, he could have bought 50 kg rice. So that will give us that he could have bought 50 kg rice for 1,100 more than 1/10 of his salary. So we do not know that how much is he spending. Like in this case also, we are given it is 20% cheaper. Okay, so we get that, okay, price is less. He had bought 50 kg for 100 more than 1/10 of his salary. So we do not have like we need to have another equation for salary. Okay, so it says that for 100 kg rice for 100 more than 1/10 of his salary. So we do not know his salary, so we cannot find 1/10. Okay, he's getting $100 more, so we do not know the salary comparison, so we cannot say that what is $100 more, right? So we should know the price. Now from second also it is not sufficient, but when we compare both, right, so we get like in one case he is using 1/4 of his salary, 20% s, right, he's getting 50 kg for 25% of his salary, and in the second case he is getting 50 kg for 10% of his salary plus $100, right? Now the price was like some price p, now it is 80% of p. So using these two we can calculate the price, and we can find the price and salary, because we have two variables, one is price and one is salary, so we can calculate it. Now again, as I said that you are not supposed to calculate, you just have to think logically that whether data is required or not. So both statements would be needed, because we have to compare two things, one is price of rice, another is salary of the person. So we have information about, we have two equations and two variables. You do not have to even form the equations. आपको equation भी नहीं बनानी that 50p is equal to 20s 25% of s. No, you do not have to form equation. You just have to think that is it sufficient to answer the question. That is the catch here, because if you start solving the question, it is going to eat up a lot of time. Next question, if a raised to the power b is such that a and b are both integers, b is a multiple of 6. Now here I would like to state one important thing is, for NMAT please cover number system, right? It's a humble request कि number system you may not get direct questions, but I have seen in the past like most of the questions from data sufficiency revolve around number system. So in the past few attempts which I have had, like for the last 2 years, I have got at least two questions each time from number system. So in this mock also we saw one question from number system. So it's a request that please do not skip number system and also modern math. Okay. Okay, it says a to the power b is a and b are both integers. Is b a multiple of 6? Now, what is a multiple of 6? Multiple of 6 means it should be a multiple of 2. It should be a multiple of 3 also. Okay. Now, a raised to the power b is a perfect square. So, when we have a perfect square, that means b is even. Right? What is perfect square? So we say 4 is a perfect square, 9 is a perfect square, 16 is a perfect square. So 2 square, 3 square, 2 to the power 4, right? So b should be even. Any number raised to the power even power is a perfect square. So b is even, but we can't say that it is a multiple of 6. Now when we say a raised to the power b is a perfect cube, so it means b is a multiple of 3. Okay, do not say just 3, it can be sixth power also. Okay, so always remember that perfect cube does not mean that it is just a power of 3. Like it can be like if I say that a raised to the power 9, that is also a perfect cube. Okay, so from this we get b is even, from this we get b is a multiple of 3. Now when we combine both things, it is a multiple of 2, it is a multiple of 3 also. So you can say even is 2m, it is 3n. So it is a multiple of 2, multiple of 3, hence it is a multiple of 6. So both statements together are needed to answer this question. Next question, if Kriti paid a total of 1350 for two dresses and sold one at 6% loss and another at 7.5% profit, what was the price she paid for each dress? Okay. Now, although this looks like a question of profit loss, yes, it is a question of profit loss. It can be solved using the concept of allegation also. Okay. Now it says that she paid 1350 for two dresses and sold one at 6% loss, another at 7.5% profit. First says she made neither a profit nor a loss. Okay, so there is zero profit or loss. Now, one she is selling at 6% loss, that means 94% cost price, and this is 107.5% of cost price. So 94, 107.5, and zero profit loss means she is selling at 100%. So the ratio will be 7.5 ratio 6, which is 5 ratio 4. So we know the ratio of prices 5 ratio 4. So she paid 1350. We can split into 5 ratio 4. So first statement alone is sufficient to answer the question. Okay. Now it says Kriti sold one dress for 705. Now one dress she sold for 705. So we can get that, okay, one of the selling price is 705. Now this is the cost price and one of the selling price is 705. Now you might be tempted to answer that, okay, which one of this will be 705, right? In one she is getting loss, this or this, which one, right? We cannot answer. She sold one dress for 705, could be the one with 6% loss or could be the one with 7.5% profit. So we cannot answer using this statement alone. Hence only one alone is sufficient to answer this question. So this was a good tricky question. Okay, so you must know this allegation ways of solving, like if you are given some percent profit, some percent loss, and if you know this method, you can find out the ratio of cost prices. So we can find the ratio of cost price from this. And second one is not sufficient because we do not know which dress did she sell for 705, the one with the loss or the one with the profit. As I said that I have created a video on data sufficiency. So you can watch this video on my channel, Let's Nail NMAT Data Sufficiency. If you are unable to find this video, please comment link in the video. I will share the link of this video. And this is a helpful video in which I have taught different techniques. What are the rules of data sufficiency? Very important rules. And that will help you solve these questions fast. Now, if you saw these questions, and if you see the live attempt, I solved these questions within 1 minute. Okay. Now, if you are solving these questions, actually calculating the values, it is going to take a lot of time. So if you know the techniques how to solve data sufficiency, you can solve them fast. Otherwise, if you actually calculate the answer, it is going to take a lot of time. So now let's move on to the next set, which is a data interpretation set. It says the table shows the information about a ceramic tile manufacturing company which works from 5 different locations. These are the 5 locations, and it says that there are things: raw material, sales invoice, repair cost, salaries paid, tax paid, and number of employees. It says if raw material, repair cost, salaries paid, and tax paid together are considered as total cost. So these are cost. This is cost. This is cost. This is cost. This is cost. And how many locations have profit of more than rupees 150,000? So these are the 4 costs, and this is the revenue, or you can say sales. So profit is sales invoice minus total cost. So we need to add all these 4 and subtract from this to get the total profit. Now, in this question, you did need some like calculation. Now it says that profit of more than 150. Okay, so these values are in thousand. So subtract 150 from it. That should give you the total cost. So first case, the total cost is 295. Second case, 376. We will compare the cost. Okay, so the total cost should be 184 to get that profit. Or you can think other way around, like if you do not want to calculate total cost, because this may sound confusing, let us just see this key. The parameter that you should have is cost should be less than 295, or this numbers which I had written, that should be less than 295. Then only you will have a profit of more than 150. Cost should be less than 376. Cost should be less than 184. cost less than 425 and cost less than 330, because if you have cost more than this, the profit will be less than 150,000. So these are the cost for 150k profit. So if you have more than this profit, the cost should be less. Now let us see whether it is less than. Focus on these numbers. This is 80, 225, 270. So this lakeside fits. Island, if you look at, this is 93, and so definitely less than 376. I mean, you just have to do approximation. See, that is the skill is needed. So this is close to 100, and this is 150 and 70. 220, 320, roughly 320. Okay, this is 110 and 200. 310, definitely the cost is very high. So River Bank will not have that profit. If you see this 102, 130, 340, 413, 420, close to it. Okay, let's see the actual thing. 128, 128, 338, 421. This was a close one, but yes, it has more than 150k profit. Now, if you see 96, 119, so definitely these are clear cut, like 250, close to 250 and 350 plus. So this definitely does not have. So these are some mental calculations that you need to do. So we get 3. Like see, 4 1 clear cut, roof toss was a close one where we had to actually do the calculations. Okay, इसमें आपको actual करने पड़ेंगे. Rest you can say that okay, this is less than this, greater than this. So we have uh, three such locations. Which of the following locations have to pay less than 14% tax with reference to sales invoice? Okay. Now, in this question, now this is a tough, I would say, calculation based thing. So what you could do is there are 5 locations. Let us check for the first location and then figure out the options. So 445, we will calculate 14%. So 445 into 14, if you do, right, what we can do is half and double. Like double of it is 890 and half is 7. So if you know the table of 7, you can easily do it, right? 7 into 9 is 63, 6 carries, it is 6470. So that means 70.3 should be the so this is will be 6 no 63, 6 carries, 56, 62, 623. So 62.3 should be the value. Now this is tax paid is 55.625, so it is less than 14%, right? Less, this is less. Now we need to check for, let's take for the if you see lakeside should be there in the options, so we can eliminate these options. I made a mistake in this question while attempting. Okay, so there are 2 options: lakeside and island, lakeside, riverbank, and basement. Now let us see which calculation is easy to make. 48, 480, because it's a round off number. Can we make this calculation fast? Basement. So let's take 48 into 14. 14 also we can multiply simply. 14 into 8 is 112. 11 carries, that is 57. Right? Now this is basement is it should be 57.2 and this is 62.4. So basement is also less. So island, lake side, river bank and basement should be the one. No need to check for river bank. So you could randomly check. See, first we check for lake side because this was the first option given and that helped us eliminate 3 of the options. And now we can check for any of them. It is not necessary that we check for basement. You could have checked for islands also. So if island did not work, okay, island was actually 14. So if island did not work, then this would have been the answer. If island worked, then this should have been the answer. So this is how we attempt not to calculate for all 5, just for 2 we calculated. Next question is, which 2 locations have the most similar raw material invoice to sales invoice ratio? So we need to find the most similar ratio. What does it mean, most similar ratio? Raw material to sales invoice. Raw material to sales invoice. We need to see the similar ratio, right? Now 96 is 5 into 5, when you do, you get 480 into 5 point something, 5.7, right? So into 5 is 480 into 5.7, 88 into 2 is 176. So 4 times if you do, that will be, so less than 4, it is 3 point something. Okay, no need to calculate exact, but it is 3 point something, right? 65 into 445, so 6 into 7 is 470, so roughly 7 times. Okay, 75 and 526, 70 into 7 is 490, so roughly 7 times. Now if you see the closest ones, these two are the closest ones, roughly 7 times. Okay, exact, it is saying that closest, most similar. Most similar means it is not exact. Similar, there is a difference between similar and exact. So it is not exact. But if you see 65 into 7, 420 plus 35, 455 hona chahiye tha. It is roughly equal to, almost equal to 455 only. And 75 into 7, if we do 490 plus 35, 525. So almost similar, 7 times. Now these are quite different. This is less than 4, 3 point something. This is 5.7 and 5. So huge difference, right? So the most similar ones are lakeside and island. So here the thing is, just find approximate value and answer it. A married couple work in the company. As per company policy, no couple can work at the same location, but they can choose the location to work from. Assuming that the salary of each and every employee working at a particular location is equal, which of the following combinations should a couple choose to work in order to have the highest combined monthly salary income? Right? So it says that like company policy, no couple can work at the same location, so they have to work at different locations, and the salary of each and every employee working at a particular location is same. So this is the salary paid, this is the number of employees, so these will give us the uh, divide by this, we will get the number of the salary. Okay, and there is a couple who are working in different locations, so which of the following combinations they will have highest combined salary? So 145 by 13 is 11 point something. Okay, 17 into 9 is 153. Here you needed some rough calculations, tables of the numbers. 18 in and 155. 18 into 8 is 144 and 18 into 9 is 162. So somewhere in between. So you can say 8 point, let us say 6, right? Around 8.6, 210 by 22. So less than 10, right? You can say 9.5 and 185 by 16. 16 into 11 is 176 and 9. So you can say 11.5, something like this, right? So lakeside and river bank, if we take the combination, lakeside is 11 and river bank is 8.6. So total is 19.6. Island and rooftop, that is 9 and rooftop is 9.5. So 18.5. River bank and basement. River bank is anyway less, so that should not give us. But yes, in fact, basement is adding it to it. Lakeside and rooftop. So lakeside is 11, rooftop is 9.5. So 20.5. And island and river bank. Island is 9, river bank is 8.6. So total combination is 17.6. So out of these, the highest one could get is lakeside and rooftop. Now this was an approximate based question. So all these questions were calculation intensive and needed approximation skills. So one important thing to master for NMAT is your calculation things. If you are good at calculations, you can solve these DI faster. I hope you are enjoying this session, so please don't forget to like this video. Let's move on to the next questions, which was based on the concept of allegation. Now, how it is allegation, how will we solve it, right? Now, before we solve it, I'll tell you how one has to use allegation in this. The table shows the percentage of LED bulbs that are not defective, the percentage of CFL bulbs that are defective, and the percentages of all bulbs that are defective. or for 5 different companies manufacturing them. Each company manufactures only two types of bulbs, LED bulbs and CFL bulbs. Now again, this is a good concept of allegation. We saw in previous question also it was tested. So prepare this chapter well and understand the conceptuals of mixture and allegation that could be used even in DI. Now, how to use that concept is, in company A, we see LED non-defective is 92. So LED defective will be 8%. CFL defective is 4%. Right. So if you look at LED and CFL, LED defective is 8%, CFL defective is 4%, overall is 6%. So if you take the differences, we get 2 and 2. So that means LED and CFL is 1:1. So this is how we could have calculated for all, but not needed. So this is important to understand that we can use the ratios to solve questions. So it was a concept on mixture allocation. Now let us look at the questions and see that where we actually need to use this concept. The first question says, if the total number of bulbs manufactured by D is 3000. Okay, D total is 3000. We need to find total number of non-defective bulbs manufactured by company D. Okay. Now see, this is a simple question. You do not have to use the ratios in this. That is why, I mean, you must understand what concept is being applied and do not calculate everything in the beginning. Some students must have calculated the all the ratios, but it was not needed for all questions. Only some questions will need it. So it's a simple question and should not have been skipped. Total number of non-defective bulbs. Okay, so there are 13% defective. So that means 87% is non-defective. 87 into 3 is 261. So 2610 is the answer. So not every question is that difficult in this set. What percentage of all bulbs manufactured by company A are CFL bulbs? Now I give you that example, right? 8%. This is LED. CFL is 4%. Overall is 6%. So it is 2 and 2, which is 1:1. Hence 50% are CFL bulbs. Okay, so total is 1:1. So 50% CFL and 50% LED bulbs. So two questions were simple. It says, if the number of defective bulbs is the same for all companies, what is the ratio of number of non-defective bulbs manufactured by company A, B and C in the same order? Okay. So it says defective bulbs are same of all companies. So ABC should have same defective bulbs. We are not concerned about D and E. It says that non-defective bulbs, we need to find the ratio. So 6%, 5%, 10%. So 6% A is equal to 5% B equals to 10% C, right? Defective. Let us put an LCM of 6, 5 and 10, that is 30. Suppose let us say this is 30. Okay. So A will be how much? 5. A will be 500. Okay. So why are we equating to LCM? To figure out, like, we can put 30N, right? So A is 500, B is 600. This was a ratio based question, and C will be 300. Okay, so 500, 600 and 300. Now what we need to find? We need to find the ratio of non-defective bulbs. So non-defective in A will be 94%. In B it is 95%. And in C it is 90%. So we will get 470, right? This is 570 and this is 270. So if you take the ratio, this is 47, 57 and 27, right? Now this was the approach to solve this question, but could be solved using options. Options se kaise karenge? Without even applying this, we will use some basic logic here. Now how to solve using options is, A has 6% defective. So A non-defective will be 94%. Okay. Now, whenever we have a ratio, so if I say that, let's say I take a number, let's say 36, we take 32, and let's say we take 44. So the ratio is 9 ratio 8 ratio 11. Okay, what we see is 9 divides 36, 11 divides 44. So the number always divides the larger number, right? Whatever is in the ratio, that portion divides the number. Now we are getting a non-defective is 94%. So we should have a factor of 94. Now 37 does not divide 94. 57 does not divide 94. 67 does not divide 94. Okay, so good observation needed here, that 47, so it has to be out of these two options. Okay, next if we see B has 5% defective. B non-defective will be 95%. Okay, 95%. Now you would say that none of these divides 95, right? But if you see, like 95 and 57, 57 is 19 into 3, and 95 is 19 into 5. So understanding of numbers is needed. Now if we see, have something in common, a factor of 19. Okay, so we will put it on hold. Now 10% means C non-defective is 10% is defective, so non-defective is 90%, right? 90%. Now if you see 27 does not divide 90, you will say 27 does not divide 90, but 27 and 90, if you see, this is 9 into 3 and 9 into 10. So an element of 9 is still present in that. So one could have gone with this option using the logic. Okay, so that this comes with practice, good understanding of numbers. And this is the proper way to solve it. Next question. If the number of defective CFL bulbs manufactured by company B and company C are equal, then what is the ratio of the total number of bulbs manufactured by company B to that manufactured by company C? Now, this was a difficult question and should have been skipped in the examination. I struggled a lot in this question. And so, if you watch that video in which I was solving, I was unable to solve during that attempt, and eventually I marked randomly. And luckily, I got this question right. Now, let us understand how to do this in a proper manner. So, defective by B and C are equal. Okay. Now, defective by B and C are 5% and 10% respectively. It says, sorry, defective CFL are equal. Defective CFL are 9% and B 5% respectively. So, 9% of B is equal to 5% of C. So, B ratio C is equal to 5 by 9. Okay, so let us say the CFL bulbs are, it is saying CFL bulbs, right? So let us say in B and C, CFL is 500 and 900. Okay, the just one basic calculation, we will find the ratios. Okay, it is ultimately a ratio based question, so we can assume any value in 5 ratio 9. You can put 1000 and 1800 also. Now, next part is, what is the ratio of the total number of bulbs manufactured by company B to that by company C? Now, in one of the questions, I told you that this is an allegation based question. Now, if you look at company B, right, CFL and LED, or LED and CFL, in any order you can write, does not matter. LED and CFL. LED is 4%, CFL is 9%. Overall, it is 5%. Okay, so what do we get? We get 4 ratio 1. So CFL and LED should be 4 ratio 1. So if CFL is 500, okay, CFL is given as 500. So LED will be 2000. Okay, so LED is 2000. Next, if we talk about company C, LED and CFL, LED is 14%. CFL defective is 5%. Overall, we have 10% defective. So when we take the ratio, this is 5 and 4, 5 ratio 4. CFL is 900. So 5 times, 4 times is 225. Divide by 4 is 225 into 5. like add 225, we will get 1125. 5:4. So this number is 1125. Okay, so we got the ratios. Now we need to total number of bulbs manufactured. This is 2500. This is 2025. Now you need to tell the ratio of B and C. So we can divide by 25, that gives us 100. 25 into 8 is 200. 2 remains 25. So 100 ratio 81 is the answer. So it was a very difficult question and difficult to understand also. Even experts would struggle in this question and ideally should have been skipped in the examination. If you are preparing for NMAT and looking for mock test on the latest pattern, you can try our NMAT mocks. They are in the NMAT interface, and an advice is they are non-adaptive. So if you think that any institute provides adaptive mocks for NMAT, that those are all false claims. Okay, so we have 10 mocks and one is free also. You can take this out on our website. Here's the next DI that is based on the concept of income and saving. So let us understand this thing. It says annual income and white one says annual saving. Income and saving is given. Average annual spending breakup is given to us. How much does a person spend, right? So that is given to us. Now we have to find out that like this is income and saving. So income minus saving is spending. Okay, and this spending is given in this format. Annual spending. What is the breakup? Now the first question is, in which year did the family spend a total of exactly 60,640 on transportation? Okay, so how to find this cost, like expense? 60,640 on transportation. Transportation is 16%, right? 16% is 60,640. So how much will be 100%? That is total expenditure will be. This is expenditure into 16%. So expenditure divided by 16, we will get 16 into 3 is 48. Then 12, 126, 7 times is 112, 44. So 3790. Okay, or basically it will be, since this is into 100, so 379,000. Okay, 379,000 is the total expenditure. Now subtract from it, this is 470 and 252. We will get that expenditure as 218. Okay, this is 498, 223, 275, 513, 204. This is 309, 570, 191. This is 379. So this matches. These are in thousands. Okay, these this is in 1,000 rupees. So 379,000. So it is in year 4. Or instead of calculating all, one could have just observed the data. 379 or 380 will be in which year. What was the total increase in the amount of money the family spent annually on buying food and clothing in Y2 over Y1? Okay, so we need to tell the total increase in the amount of money families spent on buying food and clothing in Y2 over Y1. Okay, so Y2, the total expenditure is 498 minus 223, that is 275. And here the expenditure is 470 minus 252, which is 218, right? So expenditure was 218. Now it has become 275. So increase of 57,000. E increases by 57,000. Now it is saying that food and clothing, right? The percentage is same. Food is 14%, clothing is 4%. So 18%. Okay, 57,000 ka 18%. 18,7 is 126, 12, 90 plus 12 is 102. So 57,000 ka 18%, you will get 10,260. So we are just dealing in digits, not worrying about the decimals and zeros. Okay, so 57,000 is the expenditure that has increased. So the expenditure on food and clothing will increase by 10,260. So if you actually calculate, you will get 15,000 into 18 by 100. So two zeros will go away. So 570 into 18. So that is why another zero will come here. But as a practice, you should avoid writing decimals and zeros. On which item did the family spend between 1 lakh and 1.2 lakh annually in Y4? Now, how to do this calculation is, see, in Y4, the expenditure is 379. Okay, 379, 570 minus 191, 379. So we can say that roughly 38 as a multiple. Okay, now 38 into which number will be 100, and like, see, the thing is, you do not have to take the actual digits, like whether it is 1 lakh, 1.2 lakh, just see the multiplying factor. So if you multiply by 38 into 3, what is 38 into 3? Which is 114. Okay, so somewhere around 30% should be our answer. So one is other and another is housing, right? So we can eliminate the three options easily. If you do 30%, it is 1.114. Okay, if you add one more percent, like 30% is 114. If you add 1%, that will be 3.8. It will be 117 or less than 4. Like, so somewhere around this. So 30, like if you take 31%, it is between this range. So 31% falls between. Okay, so you can comfortably go with it. Or if you take 35%, 380 into 35, half and double method of multiplication, 70 into 9, right? Like half, if you take half of this and double of this to multiply, 19 into 7 is 133. That would have become 1.33 lakh. Okay, which is more than the given range. So 31% is the only one which fits in this. So all these questions involve good understanding of calculation techniques. Next question says, the annual family spending in the year preceding Y1 was 150,000. So here the spending was 150,000. Which year recorded the lowest percentage increase in the annual family spending over the preceding year? So it was 150. We calculated it. This was 218. Okay, this is 275. This is 309. Like, we are subtracting the values. And this is 379. And 650 minus 182, you will get 468. Okay, so mental math is needed because NMAT tests you good on these mental maths calculations. So you should have good mental maths. Okay, now we do not have to calculate percentage increase. Actually, it is saying that which has the lowest percentage increase. Okay, so Y1, Y2, Y3, Y4. So here the increase is 68 upon 150. Okay, this is 57 upon 218. No need to calculate. Now increase is just 34 with 275. So they go. First of all, increase is quite less. Okay, here the increase is 70 upon 309. This is 89 with respect to 379. Now increase is the lowest in this year, and if you say that okay, these years have lower your expenditure, but the increase is significantly high, right? So like 34 is the 34 is the increase, and in these years, although the increase like the total expenditure is high, but increase is significantly high. So we can say that it is clearly 34 which is the lowest over the preceding year. So we need to compare with respect to the preceding year. So we have Y3. We need to compare. This is for Y3. Do not mark. Now the confusion is people mark Y2. They will say Y2 to Y3. No, it is comparing with respect to the preceding year. So Y3 in comparison to previous year had the least percentage increase. So there were some of the questions which were easy, like this was easily calculatable. There were some that required intense calculation. So you need to work on your calculation speed to ace the DI part, because it is mostly calculation based. Some could be variations, like concept of mixtures was tested in one of the sets. Okay. In case you are preparing for NMAT and SNAP and are looking for a structured preparation wherein all topics are covered in detail, right? All these techniques are taught, fast calculation techniques, how to solve different varieties of questions, including practice material and mock tests. You can enroll in our NMAT SNAP course. And in case you have had good scores in NMAT and SNAP in the past, we can offer you discount, right? So if you have NMAT score of 230 plus or SNAP of 97 plus, you can get 30% off. And if you had the scores in this range, you can get 20% off. You can mail your scorecard to support at the rate mbkaro.in to avail this discount. So all the best for NMAT. We will be coming up with the solutions of other parts also. So please do watch all the solutions. Understand the techniques needed to solve the questions and practice hard and work on some core skills like calculation to ace the quant and DI section of NMAT.